Hello and welcome back to the best fantasy surfing information you can find on the internet. Before we jump into these sunset picks, by the way, thank you WSL for one day off in between. But today is actually the first day of the sunset holding period, so I am very thankful they didn't run today because there was no way this video was getting done. But before we jump into sunset picks, let's talk about Pipeline. And it got ridiculous, folks. As you know, a lot of champions bowed out early, and there's all kinds of mayhem. If you had solid picks, though, and you listened to me, despite the early carnage, you still managed to dominate your league. Normally, I'm a slow starter, but these chumps got worked. That's quite the margin for a first event, so I'm pretty happy with the result, despite early round miscues. So let's jump into Sunset. As I mentioned before, I have some information here that you can use. This is just some past winners, since the WSL makes it kind of hard to look up everything individually. That'll be in the description of this video, as always. But let's look at individual surfers and my special color coding situation. Blue is a must-have pick. Green is good value. Yellow some value. Orange, not for this event, and red, injured or out. Getting right into it, Katie Simmers is a must-have, I think, for this event. She was 5th in her first year at the event last year. Girl's just hot right now. So much confidence coming off Pipeline. Despite being like 4 feet tall, she is going to be sending it in massive sunset. Hard not to pick her anywhere. Unfortunately for the women, you only get one top-tier pick, and mine is going to be Molly Picklum, despite both her and Katie Simmers being must-have picks. She won the event last year and the year before she was 5th. 2 solid results, and I expect more of the same from her now. She absolutely charges. I think she'll do just fine in the massive conditions. Unfortunately, you have a really hard decision here because Betty Lou is also very good. This is a home wave for her. And I would expect big things. 9th place finish last year, not great, but I'd expect her to do better than that this year. And these top 3 in your rankings are not going anywhere. I'm taking Molly. Moving on to the second tier, we have several other must-have picks. You only get to pick 2 of them. We've got Brissa Hennessy. She was 5th last year, won the event the year before. I think it just her style is good at sunset, and she'll be looking to get another massive result early in the season. I'm picking Brissa. Another must-have I have here is Caroline Marks. Finished 2nd last year. She's just solid all around in seemingly all conditions. The big waves are not going to be a problem for her either. Moving on, Joanne DeFay. Good value there. She was 5th last year. I personally think there's better choices here, but you really can't go wrong, and it would not surprise me if she went a long way in this event. I would stay off Tatiana, who's consistently been 9th here. Luana Silva, 5th 2 years ago. She's solid. She can handle these big conditions. But again, I think there's just better choices out here. Tyler Wright, maybe she's mad after a poor showing at Pipeline. Still, I just think this youth movement is happening, and I think she's a decent pick, but not the best. That brings us to Gabriella Bryan, 2 third places. Man, she could go all the way this year. This is her wave, and I am picking her for sure. Sally Fitzgibbons, couple 9ths. I wouldn't go there. India Robinson had a 5th 2 years ago. Not bad at all. Again, it wouldn't surprise me if she was able to replicate that, but I think there's better picks for that middle tier. I'm going with Brissa and Gabriella. Other great picks, Caroline, Joanne, and Tyler Wright, are possibilities for me. A lot of this will depend on how the elimination round shakes out, and especially for this third tier, because there's a lot of inexperience. Sawyer and Alyssa are rookies. They haven't competed out there. Sophie McCulloch wasn't there last year when she was on the tour. It's going to be really interesting how this shakes out. I like what I saw from Sawyer and Alyssa, so I think those are decent picks. There's some value there. Isabella Nichols and Lakey Peterson are a couple of 9th place finishes. That doesn't excite me very much, but I think Lakey could expand on those results. Zoe McDougall, also a threat out there, and Sophie McCulloch. I don't really have anything to base this off of. I just feel good about her. She charges. Again, I'll be watching the elimination rounds, and I'm not making a solid pick until then. But I think I'm going to start out with Sophie McCulloch in that space and see what happens. That could quickly change. Watch the elimination round is what I'm trying to tell you. Or even better, go to this channel, like this video right now, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because I will absolutely leave you results after they happen. So if I watch the elimination round or even before then, whenever I make changes, I will update it on here as I did for Pipeline. If you were paying attention, you could have really been helped out and saved by those last minute picks. Yeah, subscribe and hit that notification bell. You'll be glad you did. Moving over to the men, man, this is going to be a fun one. I love the way this shook out at Pipeline, and I think we're going to see more of the same. Got Baron Mamiya as a must-have pick. He was only 17th last year, but he won the whole event the year before. He's won a QS there. Dude is solid. Just hopefully he doesn't party too hard after Pipeline. John Florence, also a must-have despite his finishes. The last 2 years, we had a 9th place and a 17th. Those aren't great by his standards, but he's solid on the wave. He won a QS there back in 2011, which I wouldn't put much stock in. Just thought that was interesting. John Hawaii, really, you going to pick against him? Probably not. However, much like the women, I have more must-haves than I have picks in the tier. For the men, you get 2 picks in the top tier, and I have 3 must-haves when you include Ethan Ewing on there. Man, 5th place last year, 3rd place the year before. Those are solid points. And he's phenomenal. A big wave, big carving. I think it suits him very well, and it wouldn't surprise me if he won the event. So we'll see what happens. Right now, I have Baron and John picked. We'll see how these first 2 rounds play out, and maybe I'll switch over to Ethan. You really can't go wrong there. Other solid picks in here. I love what Connor O'Leary's been doing. He had some momentum last year, and he brought it over to this year with a solid 3rd place at Pipeline. He will charge those big waves. Despite not great finishes at Sunset so far. Ian Gentile, again, solid at Pipeline, solid in Hawaii. Really like this guy surfing. Same with Leo. Despite not great results at Sunset, I think he's a, you know what, I think he's a solid pick. I wouldn't put him in that tier with John, Ethan, and Baron, but still some good value there. Jordy and Imai Kalani, they could make a run, but I don't see them up with the rest of that first tier pack. Moving on to the second tier, Griffin Colapinto was 2nd last year. This guy's going to be pissed off after Pipeline. I would not pick against him here. Definitely locking him in as a must-have pick. Yago Dora and Liam O'Brien, both 17th place finishes last year. I just, besides the fact that they charge, I don't think this is the event for them. We'll probably get into them more when we get over to Portugal. Surprise pick here for me is Matthew McGillivray. I was surprised when I looked into what he's been doing lately in a 5th place and a 9th the year before. This could be a good wave for him. He is my 4th pick from this tier, and yeah, I'm throwing him in there for now at least. Can't go wrong with Matthew. Callum Robson, 2 17s. You don't want 17s on your fantasy. I still have him as good value, though, because he was charging at Pipeline. Oh, man. I see this as a really hungry surfer right now. He wants to prove that his rookie year was no fluke. I think that's a great pick there. And Crosby Colapinto, besides his inexperience of the wave, I think he's going to be comfortable out there in the big waves, and there is some value. Jake Marshall. 2 years ago, he placed 5th, and I hear a lot of people mentioning his name. It's going to be early that he needs to make a move here if he wants to make that cut, and I think he does well at this event. Ramsey Bakayam, good here. I don't know how high the upside is. I don't see him making it through 2 rounds, so I'm going to hold off here. Here's your must-have of the event. Jack Robinson, he's in the 2nd tier. He won't be there for long. Pick him up while you can. 3rd place last year, 5th the year before. Jack loves Sunset. Sunset loves Jack. Pick him. Another must-have I have here. This, it's maybe not the best wave for Gabriel, but he's another guy who's going to be pissed off after Pipeline, and he's just so good. I'm not passing up the opportunity to pick him in this tier. There you go. Pick him. Ryan Callanan, 2 17ths. That doesn't inspire me. Miguel Pupo, a 9th and a 33rd. Same thing there. Could make a run. I don't see it happening, though. Italo, man, I was going back and forth between him or McGillivray. and I went with Matthew because I just don't think it's the best wave for Italo's style. You won't see him doing airs out there. I'd probably hold off, but so talented, you never know. Kanoa, second place finish 2 years ago. Gotta love that. But again, I think the waves are going to be too big for his style, really. Seth Muniz, ninth and a fifth the year before. Again, solid pick, a lot of value there, just not for me. Sammy Pupo, 2/17. I don't want any part of that. So again, in these middle tier, I'm going with Griffin, McGillivray, Jack, and Gabriel. Third tier action. This gets interesting because I think this could go a lot of different ways. I've got as one of my picks Jacob Wilcox. You get two from this third tier. I think he's going to be comfortable out there. He's had a lot of experience out there in waves of consequence, and I think he's going to be more comfortable than his experience would suggest. I'm picking him. Eli Hanneman, he was a wild card last year, placed 17th. That doesn't do too much for me, but he could prove me wrong. Staying off of Federico and Cade, although Cade is now everyone's favorite surfer after that epic wipeout at Pipeline. David Silva had a ninth. That's not bad. No way I'm picking him there, though. I don't trust the guy. He's broke my heart too many times. Kelly Slater, I heard he might not even be at this event. I'm not sure. He doesn't like the wave. The wave doesn't like him. Don't pick him if he is in the competition. Joao will not be there. Here is your lock, man. Besides Jack Robinson, this is your lock of the event. Kyle Abelli down in the third tier. I don't know if you can hear the garbage truck in the background, but sorry about that. I'm not re-recording this with the time crunch. Kyle Abelli, this is the guy here in the third tier. Fifth place last year, third the year before. You might recall that the year before when Barron had that wave, he took all the way to the beach just to inch by Kyle. Very controversial. Barron went on to win the whole event. Anyways, Kyle's going to do well. He's not going to be happy with his 31st place finish at Pipe, so make sure you pick him in that third tier. Rio, this wave doesn't suit his surfing. Probably not the best event for him. Another possibility, I didn't pick him because I've already got my two picks, but I think Cole Hausman is going to come back hard. My guess is he's been at Sunset a lot since going out early the Pipeline event, and he's big, and I think that big backhand will be good. So we'll see, but he would be my third option there. Let's just look at these picks real quick. Molly Picklum, as of right now, she's my power surfer. I think that's a good move, although, man, Brissa and Gabriella are also solid here. Sophie, we'll see how that elimination round goes. Moving on to the second guys, Barron and John. Who's going to be my power surfer? I don't know. It might be Ethan Ewing. We'll see. But for now, we'll leave it at Barron. Moving on to the second tier, Griffin, Gabriel, Matthew, and Jack. Man, I love Jack here. But those are some solid picks there for you. They might all get changed in the elimination round. We'll see. Also love that Kyle O'Belly pick. And Cole, we'll see how he does. We'll see how he does in these first round or rounds. Anyways, if I ruined your Pipeline event, let me know about it. If I made your Pipeline event, please let me know about it. Looking forward to some great waves at Sunset, and I think we're going to have a really fun event. Thanks again for watching. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and let's chat. Thank you, and you're welcome.